All right, mornings do not get any prettier than this. Look at this sunrise. But man, this water is crazy low and it's still falling. Low tide, based on the past 2 days, is gonna occur in this area about 9 a.m. So I wanted to get out here early and fish the end of that fall. Water's definitely falling right now. It's too early for me to tell how pretty this water is, but I've come into the marsh, trying to catch some fish, and at the end of this video I'm gonna show you what I've been doing with my fish lately. Super simple and really delicious. All right, as I mentioned, it's too early for me to tell what this water looks like, so I'm gonna start with this Red Fog Pro's Choice soft stick bait. I mean, obviously it's a low light right at this moment. The sun's not up yet. I like this bait in low light conditions. I'm targeting bass and redfish this morning, and either one works really well for how I'm gonna cook them. This water is incredibly low. I mean, just incredibly low. Look how much exposed bank there is. You know, I like that because it concentrates these fish. Ooh, there's a fish. Ooh. Oh, he stole my bait. Hate losing the first fish of the day. I'm trying to be super quiet because I'm right on top of these fish. It's just such a still morning. There's a fish. All right, fish number one is a bass. It's actually the third hit I've gotten. Missed the first two, and you can tell it's not a big fish. Those other ones may not have been big either, but it's a start. There he is. Oh, damn it. There's a fish. All right. Beautiful bass. Not as far as size, just as far as color. Got some stripes. Not exactly common among these marsh bass. Red fog is what they want today. This water's a little bit stained, even though we got some bluebird clear skies. This is the color they're hitting. I suspected that'd be the case. Ooh, I got tagged. There he is. Oh, I missed him. Bad hook set. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it never even penetrated. Bad hook set. I got my drag really loose. I don't want to break off on that hook set. Probably had it a little too loose. I got smoked. If you saw a recent video I did, you know I dropped my leaders down to 12-pound fluoro. So I really feel like I get more bites on it. And it's been kind of a learning experience, figuring out the right knot, the right drag setting. I switched today to Palomar Knots, which a lot of people think, oh, there's a fish. Shoot! Which a lot of people think you're not supposed to tie with fluoro, but it actually is a great knot for fluoro as long as you don't cross the lines. When you go back through the hook eye, you got to make sure the lines don't cross each other like that. They got to be around the hook eye like that. And if that's the case, it holds up well by all accounts. This is the first day I'm fishing it, so I'll let you know if I have some break-offs. Of course, my main line's still the same. It's 30-pound soft steel braid. All right, getting a ton of short strikes. So I'm gonna switch to this smaller bait, Holy Jolly Matrix Shad. Not really Holy Jolly water. But I'm gonna throw it a couple minutes just to see if I can get some hooks in these fish, if they'll even bite this. I've got that on a 1/4 ounce depth grip jig head. Of course, that hook is exposed, so it tends to be a better hookup ratio. But here's the negative. You're gonna occasionally pick up some snodgrass. There's a fish. Nope, you're not gonna hold it. Just like your buddies. Fish are being really weird today. And I think it's because this tide is just not moving at all. I can't say not at all. It's moving just a hair, barely trickling out. Another bite. I'm just not committing. Not committing at all. Look what this one left me. A scale. Not a big scale either. I don't think it's big fish. They're hitting it and spitting it immediately. Or maybe just trying to kill it with their tails. There's tons of fish in here. I know there has to be. This water being this low. you find any deep water. Right now we're in 4.2 feet. There he is. That's a good fish. That's not a bad fish. And once again, look, hooked him outside the mouth. They're just not being aggressive. But he will go good in the pan. It's funny when you get a lot of bites and they're just short striking, you get almost shell shocked, like you hate to set the hook. 9 times out of 10 when you set it, your bait just flies back in your face because they've already spit it. All right, this dead tide has got these fish really finicky. So I'm gonna make a move and see if I can find some moving water. Don't know if I'll have any luck, but you gotta do something. Gotta find some agreeable fish. All right, some good news. Actually, 2 bits of good news. The water here looks substantially better than what we left. Also, it's moving. So now we just gotta find some fish. Still throwing that Texas rigged red fog Pro's Choice soft stick bait. And actually, this water's so good, I may switch to the crab boil or the clear conscience. 2 great colors for pretty water. This red fog is better on cloudy days or in stained water. This water looks really good. There's a fish. All right, there we go. He committed. He committed. Woohoo! Yeah, look at that. Took that red fog deep. All right, on the small side, but his fillets will be great in our recipe. Now, this recipe I'm gonna show you has only 4 ingredients, and it's all things that you probably have right now in your pantry. I do it with speckled trout, but it really works best with fish that has a little bit firmer flesh, like bass and redfish. And I have to say this for those of you watching from out of town, if I'm fishing in impoundments or lakes or areas where the bass are pretty well protected from significant predation or from saltwater surges, I don't keep them. I don't keep any bass. I keep bass in these marshes because they don't get big. What you've seen me catch today is about average, and our marshes are just absolutely full of them. These fish will never get big. There's too much saltwater influence in these marshes for them to ever get big. I keep enough to eat for a meal, and I release the rest. I don't keep any fish over about 1.5 pounds, simply because I like the smaller ones better. I just think they taste a lot better. A lot of people like to get upset with me for keeping bass, and I totally get it. If you're not from here, you just don't know. Ooh, ooh. Todd, you blew that. If you're not from here, you just, oh goodness, boy, he smack it. Oh, flounder, look at this flounder. Not a terribly big flounder, but we're gonna keep him. He's big enough to fillet and he'll be good in our recipe for sure. There's a fish. There's a bass. All right, that's enough for our catch and cook. Again, not a big fish, but we don't want the big ones. I caught that guy on the Holy Jolly. Oh, there's another one. That feels like a better fish. Yeah, he's a better fish. Man, come on, dude. I'm impressed. All right. You're not all that big, but you definitely ate your Wheaties. Now, he took it deep. That's good to see. All right, we got the main ingredients for our catch and cook. Hot baits of the day, by far. Red Fog Pro's Choice soft stick bait under a 1/4 ounce tungsten bullet weight and a 4/0 extra wide gap hook. Also caught a few on the Holy Jolly Matrix Shad on a 1/4 ounce depth grip jig head. Both these baits are excellent with the conditions we had today, and they definitely delivered. Next time you see me, I'll be in my kitchen. Boom, now I'm in my kitchen. Seemed like that to you, but it's actually a couple days later. I kept those fish in a Ziploc bag, surrounded with ice. That's how I like to store them. It'll last 2 weeks if you do that. Definitely the best way to handle your fish. But here we go. You're not gonna believe how easy this recipe is. And as I mentioned, it's probably stuff you already have in your cupboard or pantry. So let me show you the ingredients. All right, first off is kosher salt. If you don't have kosher salt, table salt will do, but this is a whole lot better. Second is onion powder. You probably got that in your cupboard somewhere. Then we got chili powder, and of course, just plain old black pepper. 4 ingredients, and of course you're gonna need a little bit of oil in the pan or butter, but we'll get to that in a minute. And here's some fish fillets. These are from the fish we caught the other day. Now, here's a helpful tip if you don't already know this. Obviously, when you fillet a fish, you cut the skin off. You always wanna start with the skin side down in the pan. So I like to season this side of the fish first. And actually in this recipe, what I'm doing here, I only season one side of the fish. So I do it on the flat side, not on the side that's kind of toward the belly of the fish. All right, first thing, I put some of that kosher salt in my hand and sprinkle it pretty generously on these fish. Now, this kosher salt, you know, it's kind of like if you ate a pretzel, you'd be fine with some salt on that pretzel, but it's really good when you've got this crunchy kosher salt on a pretzel. It's really the same concept. You bite into this crunchy saltiness when you're eating these fish, and it just makes it so much better. All right, next up, our onion powder. Sprinkle that pretty generously. Everybody likes onion powder. Some chili powder. And then our black pepper. And as you can see, they're pretty heavily seasoned, and that's important again because I'm only seasoning that one side. Really, it's kind of overkill if you season both sides. It's almost a little bit too seasoned. So this is the route to go. All right, I'm making some risotto to go along with this. So I just gotta kind of keep an eye on that and a little bit more chicken stock. And as you can see here, I've got my cast iron skillet. I've got it heating up in about medium-high setting. Very important. Before I do anything, I turn on my skillet because I want this thing super hot. Nothing worse than putting fish in a cold skillet or one that's not hot enough yet. It's just a mess. It's just a disaster. You just ruined your fish. So make sure you get your skillet hot. If you're attempting to do this dish with like a non-stick skillet, forget it. Don't do it. Don't even waste your time. Get a cast iron skillet. If you don't have one, an aluminum skillet will be fine, but don't use non-stick. All right, next up, if you don't care about health or at all, use butter in this dish. But if you're on like a non-dairy diet, you can't eat dairy or something like that, go with avocado oil. It's got a really high smoke point, and you can really get this stuff very hot before you have a problem. So that's what I go with. You can tell my pan is already smoking, so that's good. Pour some avocado oil in here. It's not gonna take very long for that to get hot because our pan is already so hot. All right, let's put some fish in there. All right, obviously you don't ever wanna crowd your pan, don't wanna put too many fish in there. It takes a little while to cook some fish if you're cooking for your whole family, but just take the time to do it right. Now, as you notice, we put that skin side down. Skin's, of course, off of the fish, but that's the side that we put down. And I really don't time these things, just kind of go off a feel. But you want to really sear those fish. You don't want to flip them too early. So it's kind of hard to say exactly how long. I'm going to say maybe 3-4 minutes or so on that side. Kenny Flynn from GW Fins told me years ago, you go with the pancake analogy. You cook fish 2/3 on one side, 1/3 on the other side. I think we're close to the point of flipping. You see some nice crispy edges on this fish. I bet we're right about there. So let's see. Yep, perfect. Perfect there. Perfect-esque. All right, it's gonna take like 1 more minute or so. We're gonna take these off, and our risotto is almost done. Okay, so now the reason you put that skin side down first is so your fish doesn't curl. And as you can tell, these did not curl, and they're really done. They're ready to come off. All right, I got my final 3 fillets in the pan. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a plate and make sure it tastes good. Start with some risotto. Gotta have something green in every meal, right? So there's some broccoli and a couple of fish fillets. Put that right on top of the risotto. All right, now the moment of truth. Let's see how it tastes. It's a little on the warm side. Look, I'm not surprised. I make this all the time, but it is absolutely delicious. Be sure and do this at home. You will not regret it. Super easy, super quick, with ingredients you probably already have. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the Marshman Masson channel on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. And until next time, if we don't see you in the marsh or in my kitchen, we'll see you right here on Marshman Masson.